Hello everybody, welcome back for StarCraft 2 action. We have GuMiho, the reigning Homestory Cup 25 champion, ready to defend his title against Clem, who is playing Protoss in the grand finals of the Homestory Cup 26. Now, Clem and Gumi did meet before in the winners finals of this tournament, and Clem started off playing Terran against GuMiho, did get beaten down, and when he was 2-0 down in Game 4, Clem picked Protoss on Abyssal Reef, and it looked pretty promising. He was capable of making a lot of mistakes, but coming back. Saw Euthermal tweeting after that, being like, well, I think we see the future of Protoss is becoming more like Terran, getting enough APM, basically, to be able to make some mistakes and come back from them. Rely less on the strategic defensive playstyle that Protoss is used to enjoy, and become a little bit more Terran-like, which I thought was an interesting take. And for the grand finals, Clem has decided to start off with Protoss. Let's see if he sticks to it or goes back to his Terran. Maybe it's just for a couple maps that he likes playing Protoss. Now, before this tournament, he was playing a bunch of Protoss on the ladder, ranked up his Protoss account to have a pretty respectable MMR. I don't quite remember, obviously a couple hundred lower than his Terran account, because he was frustrated with Protoss. And so he played some himself. Now Gumi gets to the finals, went 10-0, I think? No, he didn't quite go 10-0, but he was first in his group. Played against Hero Marine, bopped him 2-1, 3-1. Then had to play against Maru. Did win out. Then played against Clem, did win out again, and that punched GuMiho's ticket to the grand finals. And of course Clem, pretty similar road, playing against Nightmare, playing against Cyril, then against Gumi, and then Cyril again. It's a rough one for the champ. And now we're back in the grands. Of course, this is against the backdrop of new maps and a new patch. And as you just heard, it's pretty Terran dominated right now. Zerg has been struggling, but it's really interesting to see how the Zergs have been adapting to just not being allowed to spam queens anymore. We've been seeing a lot of roaches. We've been seeing a lot of cutting of the queens and just going almost no creep spread. Kind of like a lot of like Heroes of the Storm, Heart of the Swarm, and early Legacy type of builds coming back. Really cool. So we'll definitely be covering a lot of Zerg games in the groups, but I decided to start with the playoffs this time around. Usually we start with the groups and then we go into the playoffs, but then it kind of feels like a little bit too late. Double Adept coming in here for Clem. He does pick up 2 Reaper kills and loses 1 Adept. Would have probably preferred to at least stop the CC from building. Let's see what Gumiho's doing. Going for a fast factory starport, but it's also going across the map. That Adept, did it go down? It did not go down. Did get the Shade out, and 2 Hellions and 1 Reaper remaining, trying to put a little pressure at the front. We do have a robotics facility, and Clem is going for Blink. Now, if you didn't read the new patch notes, I would recommend going to go and check that out. Maybe pause the video and check it out, or do it after the game. But it'll give you a little bit of context on what we are working with. The old Cyclone is back. We don't have shield battery overcharge anymore, so no more nuclear batteries. It now recharges mana, like energy, on units. So it's kind of like Kadarian Amulet, but then on any unit that the Protoss would prefer. It's kind of cool to just warp in 2 Templar and then give them energy. Or I think you can only give 1. Now we do see tank drop with 4 Marines here on Whispers of Gold, which we haven't yet had the chance to talk about. Lots to talk about here. Hellions and Reaper get a little bit of a distraction off here. And Clem loses a couple probes at the third, and also in the main. There's 1 tank and 4 Marines. Pick off a nice pylon there. And the medevac leaves. All of its cargo to die. 6 probes have died, and oh my god. The Hellion plus Reaper combo gets into the natural, gets a couple pickoffs. And that puts Clem at 38 workers versus 35 of GuMiho. GuMiho, however, does not have a third base. Has been putting in a lot of work. As in trying to get more tech up, trying to get more units up. Is going for the second and third barracks before even considering the third CC. Does not have stim, does not have combat shields. So GuMiho very tech heavy here. Now has a bunker and tries to stay safe here. The Stalkers blink for it, have vision with the Observer, and that is another tank kill. That's 2 tanks down the drain, and that's going to be pretty rough for GuMiho. Usually a more passive Terran will have a siege tank in the natural now and one in the main, but Clem identifying that that's not the case. Look at that. GuMiho now finally gets a siege tank in position, gets a nice shot on Stalkers. No Stalkers have died as of yet. One of them has died, sorry. It is what it is. Second siege tank comes online. Siege is up. And Clem still putting on the pressure here. The Observer does get scouted, or, well, scanned. It was pretty obvious that there was one. And the Observer goes in to provide ever more vision for the Blink Stalkers. Now, are they going to commit in? That would be a little dangerous. And the Observer sieges up here, has a lot of vision on the base of Gumi. We do see the double upgrades for GuMiho coming out. We see Stim, we see combat shields, and at the back of this we see 5 gateways going down for Clem. We have +1 and a War Prism coming out. This Raven tries to get a couple pro kills here. Does get the 2 of them. And, ooh, 5 of them eventually end up going down. Oh, that's because of this big drop here. Or it's just an 8 Marine drop in the main, but Clem not ready for it. The Stalker's not in position. Artosis pylon going down. And 2 Stalkers and 2 sentries end up responding. Getting those Marines out of there, but 8 more probes going down. 14 probes in total have died this game. When the third base for GuMiho is finally going down. Now Clem keeping GuMiho in his base, not allowing him to take a cheeky third base early, but taking damage at the back of that. So probably still pretty even here for both players. We are getting +1 for GuMiho as well, and medevacs are on the map. So this bio is going to be pretty strong really soon. Combat Shields is done. Stim is about to finish. +1 is about to finish. And it's a great move, or moment for GuMiho to move out here. Do get a couple Zealots warped in by Clem, and the moment GuMiho moves out, Clem wants to go in there with the Warpers and punish this move out. Try to get GuMiho to go back into his main base and delay this push as long as possible. Maybe even delay the third base a little bit. Here comes that War Prism, zooming on in there, drops a couple Zealots in the main base, but there is a little contingent of bio ready to deal with this. So Gumi can push out, but instead he stays at his third base. He's comfortable, just sitting back, macroing up here. Is he going to get armor? Is he going to get an armory? Is he going to get +2 attack? Hasn't really made a decision just yet. So you'd expect him to move out, but so far hasn't been doing that. Clem gets a couple Zealots in the main once again. The turret has finished up, making this a little bit more difficult. These Widow Mines looking scary, but end up not doing too much. The bio defending the SCVs, and a big Zealot warp-in happens whilst Clem tries to collapse onto the main army, but not enough units over there, so could have been a game-ending fight, but instead Clem just bleeding some units here. GuMiho, I feel like, is getting pretty decent trades, but on the back of this, Clem gets a fourth base, and although it's been scouted, what can GuMiho do about it? I feel like Clem is already kind of reaping the rewards of that fourth base. Could even start thinking about a fifth, and then if the fourth gets, like, cancelled or killed, he could transfer his probes over. And Gumi decides to move out. Now lots of bio doesn't stim right away, so these Zealots do get to go in for, well, not free, but not stimmed Marines at least. And, ooh, the stim comes out, the +1 showing its value. The second Colossus only now just coming in. All of the Zealots have already been melted away from this army. And the Zealots now charge in once again. Nice blink to the side of the Stalkers. They managed to click down the Colossus, or the Siege Tank. The Colossus still reigning supreme from the back. The lasers going down on the army of Gumi, but it has a lot of Marauders, and the Marauders don't take too much damage from the Colossi. The medevacs in the air. We have 6 medevacs here, healing them up. Most of them still have enough energy to do so. But Clem does manage to hold on here. Gumi does not get a position on top of these Colossi. Enough chaff in the front here for Clem. Warping in the Zealots, warping in the Stalkers, and even some sentries now. Keeps him alive. He has the 4th base, and Gumi decides to build a 4th of his own, starting armor. But no armor ages yet. Big doom drop in the main here. 3 medevacs full of Marauders. That's a Pult-esque drop if I've ever seen one, and the Marauders go into the main base. The Artosis pylon goes down, but the Tasteless pylon still standing strong. The Nexus gets targeted down, and Clem knows, well, if half your army is on the map, then I can collapse here. It's kind of like a Dota game. You see 1 or 2 guys responding on the other side of the map, that means you can go onto the other heroes that you see in front of you. And oh my god, these Marauders, they stim again. They just go for more pylons. And now we do see a recall and instant boost out there. Oh, nice snipe, Clem. Threads the needle there and kills one of the medevacs filled with Marauders. And all of those Marauders do go down. They're now still stranded in the main, but the boost is back online for the medevacs. One of them is very low on HP. And we do get some pickups onto this one medevac. 3 health medevac does get out with 3 Marauders. And on the back of that, GuMiho is churning out more bio, but we don't see any more tanks. Does have a reactor factory to make more Widow Mines, and we see 3 more barracks coming up to increase that production. We see +2. We see a armory, an engineering bay, and a fusion core. So GuMiho really wants to get more tech up in here. Of course, the fusion core for the Liberator range would be very nice. How many Vikings do we have? 6 Vikings to contest these 2 Colossi, with 2 more coming out. A 5th base for Clem is going down. And GuMiho goes for the drop again. The main has never been rebuilt. Bit of a scrappy game here. The Zealots running in. Widowmine's not getting the greatest of connections, and that's a lot of Zealots. Not enough bio here, but Clem runs after this small army, leaving that 3rd base alone. Not even 1 or 2 Zealots running in there. Of course, he can't know if there's enough bio there to stop him. This bio running ragtag into the 5th base now. Their last stand is against a Nexus, but that is not your home. And Clem also holding off this drop for the most part. Now wants to push in with his main army. GuMiho, where is yours? He's just been throwing units into the bases of Clem, and now does not have enough to stand at his own 3rd base. These Vikings try to click down the Colossus, but it's just not enough. The SCVs come up the line, but it's only a couple of Marauders, and this Viking tries to do the impossible, but the Deathwalkers are walking on the grave of GuMiho as he dies in this game number 1. And Clem takes the victory in this grand finals, takes the lead playing Protoss. Not even his main race. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your game, sir. That's a meme, apparently. Even the DT Shrine, I didn't see it come into play, but Gumi gets clapped in game number 1. And for game number 2, we have loaded up into Ley Lines, another new map. With the blue trunks, we have the blue Protoss Clem playing for Team Liquid, going up against Gumagod. I don't know for what team. I think it's Team Vitality, but no, he was Cloud9, and now I don't know if he switched to a new team or not. But it was Cloud9 until recently. Oh well, it's the Red Terran, the title defender, and now down 1-0 on Ley Lines. Trying to get it back. We do see that they're... This is a cool feature, by the way, that you have to mine out this mineral before you can take this RiquizCasts. which is sad for the Zergs that like to proxy hatch here, but, you know, we're just forward hatch. We have 4 of those on this map, which is pretty cool. I think that's the main feature that you need to think about when you see this map. Noil probe comes out. Now, GuMiho losing that game number 1. What does he have to do here in game number 2 to make that outcome a little different? Well, there's a couple of routes he can take. He can go for some super sharp builds. Things that, as a Protoss off race, even though Terran is his main race, are hard to hold. I'm not sure what those would be, but it could be similar builds that he did in game number 1, but just more annoying, like a super fast Widowmine drop, even though Clem is giga fast. Maybe go for some Liberator harassment, maybe go for like proxy cloaked Banshees, just anything that, if you are not like a Protoss player, are difficult to hold. He could also, what I would like to see as well in one of the future games, is get a quick third command center. A little quicker than he did in game number 1, because Clem seemed pretty confident at holding off GuMiho, even though he took some damage. Like his Blink Stalkers, those of Clem, seem really lethal. And if you let Clem play that game, he's going to abuse you for that the rest of the game. And in that last game, you kind of saw that even though GuMiho had a pretty strong army, he just kept splitting it up, trying to throw units at Clem, trying to find the damage. But Clem, at every point, just didn't take enough damage to make it worth it. And so GuMiho never really had a huge army that could fight into the Protoss. And the one fight near the 3rd and 4th, when Gumi ended up retreating, I feel like could have been the breaking point there. So if GuMiho makes some minor adjustments, I think he can abuse Clem pretty hard. Because again, it's his off race, so he might not play a lot of styles. He might just play those Blink Stalkers Colossus every game. Because that's also how he plays Terran versus Zerg, for example. Clem just plays the one build or a couple builds into the same main army-ish. Because that's what Terran does, right? Like, you just get your bio. Doesn't matter how you get there, you're gonna get there. But we're gonna see, for now, we see that Clem is doing the same thing, getting Blink, getting 3 gates, getting a Robo, and just getting comfortable. Has lost a singular Adept, and Gumi elects not to go for the 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion build, and is mixing it up a little. I like that. I think especially Cyclones are pretty strong. These are, of course, the old ones with the lock-on. That is actually on cooldown in between lock-ons. It can't just lock on right away again. But I don't quite remember. We'll just have to see. And we see a 7 Marine drop here walking into the main base. We don't have Stim, but these Marines trying to get a couple probe kills. Clem responding very quickly. Ooh, the gas taking a lot of damage here. 1 Marine going down. Nice target fire by Clem. Does lose the Adept there for 2 Marines. So some nice harassment coming out of GuMiho. Not losing too much of it for it. And some Stalkers and a War Prism are moving across the map. Blink is finished. We're going to see some aggression across the map once again. How many siege tanks do we have back here? We have the 1. But it does seem to be covering a lot of area here. Stalkers walk into a Cyclone. Blink forward. Try to get it 1 health on the Cyclone. Are you kidding me? What the hell? Calculate it. And that Cyclone gets healed up right away by the SCVs. Big blink in by Clem. Goes for the tank, but the Marines are ready. And they shoot their gun. They don't have Stim, though, but Stim is now finished. 1 wrong blink by Clem, and the Marines will Stim and just go, go, go and get you. And the War Prism is fast enough. Picks up a couple Stalkers here. We need to see God micro here by Clem. And he does show us some good micro. Blink comes back online, and this siege tank does not get a shot off. Clem, wow. Even with Stim finishing, doesn't lose that many Stalkers. 2 Stalkers have died. And, oh my god, another Blinking gets another tank! What? GuMiho is getting the runaround here from Clem. And now the Stalkers are in your base, killing your dudes, even trying to kill an add-on here. Dude, Clem Micro is not funny. He's just embarrassing Gumi here, but Gumi is holding on, almost has combat shields. He has 2 medevacs, so anything that isn't mechanical can be healed up, and another Stalker does go down pretty hard to Micro against hit scan units, aka Marines. And, ooh, nice lock-on onto the Warp Prism, and it's time for Clem to slowly but surely go home. These Marines at the third base actually getting a lot of probes. So even though Clem is taxing GuMiho at the front, he's also kind of taxing himself. And because of that, losing some probes now, the move out of GuMiho, this is scary because Storm is underway, +1 is underway, Charge is underway. And even probes are being built. Clem just doesn't have the army. Look at that. GuMiho's army count is so high. Even the boys are being pulled, and Clem does not seem ready for this. I love it. Gumi going for a sharp attack, and can you hold? The SCVs have not been seen, and the SCVs will now come in. We see them now. Clem sees them, retreats from the third base, and it's just Stalkers. We don't have Colossi this game. Clem is trying to go into Storm, so I was wrong. He plays multiple styles. But GuMiho gets on top of the field center of Clem. The third base is forfeit. The front of his naturals forfeit, and it's not looking good for Clem. His army supply is still more than 20 behind. Can he get the Warpins? Can he get the army supply ready? We saw Storm finish up, but we don't have the High Templar. Oh, he does have the High Templar. He gave them energy. Storms are going down. But it's not enough, is it? Storms go down, the Archon gets morphed, and Archon comes in from the back, but the Stalkers get evaporated by all of the Stim Marines. Another Stim goes down. All of these Marines are super red, but Clem has to give up. G to the G is called. All of the probes come off the line a little too late. And GuMiho takes back a map versus Clem, now 1-1, the best of 5. Both players are on the board. And for game number 3, we load up into Frostline with GuMiho, taking back a map. And now we are 1-1. Frostline, a new map, as most of the maps will be that we see in this best of 5. Now, one thing that I like about this map is that it only has 6 bases per player. So not a super high amount of bases. I kind of feel like there's too many bases on most maps. And so you see that you have your main, you have your natural, and then you have the pick of the litter for a third base and a fourth base. But after that, you kind of have to go off this high ground that brings you to these side thingamajigs, which has the extra 2 bases for a 5th and a 6th. And that's it. That's all that's all the bases. So it's 12 bases total. I think that's still kind of decent, but especially because the 5th and the 6th are so difficult to take, I kind of like this map conceptually. I would really love to see in the future some experimenting with Brood War-esque maps, where doesn't have to be 4-player maps, because that's kind of rough with 12 worker start, but just have like one map in the corner that's just a high ground with a small ramp that you can kind of defend. Just, you can even like have one with creep and one without, so that Zergs could even wall it off. So kind of asymmetric in that sense. And then you could just build a wall there, have like 2 cannons and a High Templar, you know, like something to defend it. And then, or 2 bunkers or something. And then getting a faraway base might actually be good. That would be cool. I don't know if it's feasible, but I'd like to see it. Second base going down for GuMiho in the main again. Reactor going down. We do have a Reaper moving across the map. And Clem, how is he going to make sure that this doesn't happen again? I told you, if GuMiho does a couple sharp builds versus this Protoss fraud, he could take some dubs, and he did take a pretty convincing dub. Clem kind of getting blindsided by that attack, doesn't find the same value that he did with his Stalkers. And well, as I say that, I think back of like the 2 tanks that he was able to snipe with the blink-ins. I think the Storms just didn't do as much as Colossus might have done. And I don't know if he wants to try the Storm again. It didn't seem too good against 2 base all-in. But of course, I'm not a Protoss expert, I'm not a TvP expert. But it kind of felt like Clem just didn't quite respect that 2 base attack. And even though he got like 2 siege tank kills, he wasn't able to hold it off. He only had a handful of Stalkers, was investing a lot into the future. The charge, the +1, the extra gates. Made a robo, didn't use it again, like Twilight or Templar Archives. Did end up using the Storm a little bit, but if the Storm is done 20 seconds earlier, I don't know if that's feasible. But then you can actually storm him in the middle of the map, and then move back, and then regen your energy once more. Because now, he got like 3 storms off, and that's it? I don't know if that's worth it, buddy. Like, it kind of feels like 1 or 2 Colossus there do more. But we're gonna see. Clem opens up with a similar build once again, and it's been doing good for him. Like, these Blink Stalkers have been finding so much good damage. Like, every game so far has been sniping at least 1 siege tank. And Clem going for the 3rd base in a line here. So not going for the triangle base, going for the line base. Ooh, this Adept is going to get sniped down by the Cyclone Reaper. Nice move out here by GuMi, and attracting attention once again for this 8 Marine drop to do some damage in the main. This could be rough. Ooh, the Stalker does get a nice shot. We do have 2 Stalkers ready for this, though, in the main base. No shield battery, though. 2 Stalkers and an Adept. 3rd Stalker coming in, and I think this should be enough. And the Marines were A-moved. They hit the gas. 1 Marine gets targeted down right away by the Stalkers. Nice hit. We do see an Observer going down. Oh, GuMiho finds that Observer. Now moving out the 1st Stalker right away. Or a siege tank. 2nd siege tank coming out as well. GuMi is going to put on some early pressure. At least he's going to sit out a little bit more in front of his base. That is interesting. Because if these Stalkers get move commanded, they just get instantly... Oh my god, the unsiege the moment the Stalkers walk in range. That's a little unlucky. I don't think we have stim. We don't. And GuMiho is doing a move out here, but do you want to attack with all basic units, no upgrades? Into Clem that has Blink Stalkers. Another aggressive Blunk. Kills the medevac, which is very vital to this army. That means any damage on the buy units is also permanent. Forces a siege up. Oh. And let's see how much range do we have on these tanks. Dude, we don't get the circles. That is annoying. Maybe that's another a patch bug. Oh, now we do get them. Stalkers going around the left might be looking to snipe some reinforcements, but they can't actually get up there because of the rocks. It's just a tight corridor. And a 3rd siege tank is coming out here. Siege is behind the bush. I guess it's smoke, but... Combat shields +1 and stim starting up once again. This is looking a lot more like the setup GuMi had in game number 1. Well, aside from the fact that he didn't throw away Reapers and Hellions for nothing, built a missile turret in the front, is thinking about that Observer once again. Maybe even thinking about DTs. Wow, look at these siege tanks against this high ground. Kind of feels like a Brood War map because of that. I don't know why. Now, these Stalkers in the front, look at this. Big gateway explosion here for Clem. He has charge. And he's even getting a 4th base. He's just being so aggressive with 8 Stalkers, dude. GuMi, where's your 3rd base is what he's asking. Is what he's thinking. He did see it. This might have been a different building, though. and as the game slows down a little bit, we do see a cheeky medevac drop going across the map. There's 2 Vikings here as well. I don't know what they were doing, trying to find this War Prism, and they are kind of on a collision course. Some of these stalkers, oh no, they're still alive. They're just looking for a third base. They don't find a third base. And this War Prism does not get spotted. The third base is about to finish up. More barracks finishing up. Stim and combat shields is done. +1 is about to finish up, and this drop finds the 4th base and a lot of zealots. Make sure that this drop gets the hell out of there. Clem goes into the Colossi. Playing the 4 gas. Ooh, this one drop is taking a lot of attention away here from Clem. Siege tanks, they do siege up, but Clem has the knowledge. The observer in the back. Oh, these Widow Mines aren't sieged. Oh, the force field kind of protecting them against the zealots. The Widow Mines shots do go off, but the blink makes sure that they can't do anything. Can they unburrow and get picked up by medevacs here? We don't have drilling claws, do we? We don't. But they are on top of the round. Oh, zealots run into... or get dropped into the natural. Oh my god, that's so many SCVs. What the hell happened? 19! What? You look away 1 second and 19 SCVs went down. What? How? Did the siege tanks fire? What? I guess I'll put it on screen. What the 19 workers went down, and now GuMiho feels himself being forced to go all in with only 40 workers remaining. He's running in 3 siege tanks. Siege on up. Big Blonkin once again. Targets the first siege tank. Targets the second one. And the third one. Even the Colossus joining in on that focus fire. And Gumi just gets completely demolished by Clem here. Loses his workers and loses his army. And now Clem puts himself into match point in the grand finals to win with Protoss versus the previous world champion, Homestory Cup champion in GuMiho. Let's see what happens. And for game number 4, we load up into Amygdala, another new map, and Clem, he's on match point. He might win a tournament with Protoss. We thought it was Max Packs. We thought it was Hero. We thought it was Showtime. But no, it's Clem, who is the Protoss savior. He's going to show us the way. He's going to show us the light at the end of the tunnel. How to play Protoss in 2024 and moving into 2025. Now, Amygdala, I think, is a pretty cool map with these gold bases in the middle. Makes me think of Expedition Lost, which you might remember as the map where Marine King Prime lost to a spine rush from Bjol, which looked a lot like match fixing. You can go look it up on YouTube. Marine King versus Bjol, who was on CJ versus Prime. It was, I think it was a Pro League match, if I don't remember correctly, or if I do remember correctly. And I really loved Expedition Lost because as Zerg, you could go 14-14. I think it was still Heart of the Swarm, even. And you would get a bunch of speedlings and kill the rocks in the back and secure your gold bases. You would just expand to the gold instead of expanding to your natural with Zerg. So I would really like to try that on this map. Go for like an early pool, use it to kill the rocks, deny scouting, and then go for a gold base, and then go for some type of like Ling Hydra. You could even go for early Swarm Host with that, like Ling Swarm Host. Like, or Ling Roach Swarm Host, I don't know. Just ignore the fact that queens exist. But GuMiho goes for a proxy Rax, gets a Reaper in real quick, And I like this move. This is annoying for a non-Protoss player. Super annoying to deal with. But at this point, Clem might just be manning Protoss in his mind, in his brain. The Stalker did come out, and it builds 3 seconds faster from the gateway nowadays. Clem did get a little scout off. Now, did he? He did. And we see decently fast factory. Goes for attack lab right away. So is going to make a Cyclone or Siege Tank. Whilst the barracks is making its way back. Of course, Cyclone now can't be reactored out anymore. Feels good, man. Terran getting punished for getting a reactor to get Hellions and then not being able to just make double Cyclone. If, for example, versus Zerg, you run by with 7 or 8 roaches. Very cool. Makes the early mid-game for ZVT a bit more dynamic. And Twilight Console is coming out for Clem. Still enjoying the same thing here, or doing the same thing. I was kind of thinking, like, maybe he's gonna do some weird stuff here. He has a game to lose. And if he has a special build, this might be a good moment to pull it out. You know, if you want to go Stargate, if you want to go... Well, he could still DT Rush, but... not very likely anymore. And there comes the Robo. Clem looks to just have his build figured out. Let's see if he goes for that third gateway. The Adept is ready to receive the Reaper. Didn't talk about these rocks yet. They're like Zerg growths. I think they expire after 6.5 minutes. That's when they die, which is pretty cool. I like that feature a lot. Look at that. They're halfway done, or halfway dead, so... might actually be 8 then. Maybe they die faster when they're lower HP? I thought it was 6.5, but it might be 8. We'll see. Maybe we get to see them expire. There is a Cyclone on the map, and Gumi going for quadruple racks. Ooh, Gumi. I think this is going to be another boy. Like, pulling the boys. He is a boy. Not quite Roy. Okay, done with the Smash references, but this is going to be rough for Clem if he doesn't scout this. Stim coming out. No combat shields as of yet. It does start up right now. We already have 2 tanks and more are coming out. Gumi not even thinking about a Stargate. This is going to hurt a lot here for GuMiho. No, or for Clem, no engineering bay either. Dude, this observer's gonna see it. 6 Marines at a time, that's so many. Gumi, if he sees it and scans, it's going to be pretty difficult for Clem to really know what's up. He sees a couple Marines. He wants to go in. He sees 2 tanks. He sees the Marines coming in. And he can't scout the extra racks. Oh my, oh my, oh my. More gateways and a forge coming out for Clem, an extra observer, and some of his stalkers are moving out. These Marines and siege tanks could be getting picked off. Ooh, the stalkers don't see it. These stalkers could have picked up a free siege tanks for sure. Or free siege tank. Oh, but now they walk up the ramp. Oh, instant blink from Clem. He's so fast, but look at how these blink stalkers for the first time are not going to get a lot of damage done. These are not the 8 stalkers that can actually snipe tanks. We do see 1 Marine, 2 Marine, almost 3 Marines. And still, these stalkers getting battered and bruised. Cyclone gets in on the action as well. 1 stalker almost ready to fall. And Gumi's just running across the map, just pumping units and rallying them forward. Not pulling the boys, though. So behind this, he is just going to play a game, but he thinks that he can kill the third with this. 4 siege tanks sieged up. We do have charge on the map, and Clem is committing in to deal with this just with his face. He's face-checking this army, and the siege tanks are just creating havoc here. Just melting the army of Clem. And Clem can't target them all down, and now more Marines come in. A scan goes down, the observer goes down, and 3 siege tanks still standing. 1 coming in at the tail end here, and the third base has been given up here by Clem, but that is the worst. If you commit to defend it and then lose it, That's probably the end there for Clem. I mean, maybe he can hold on here. We don't have a starport, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we do. Oh, no. GuMiho even finishing up an engineering base, so he's not that all in. Didn't pull the boys for this or anything. And Clem getting sucker punched here in game number 4. GuMiho, what a build, dude. Just boxing out those early stalkers that have been proving so difficult for him to deal with, or just having been getting a lot of value for Clem. And Clem, his last hurrah, does get a lot of siege tanks, but he just doesn't have a lot left. Can he stay in the game? He did start another third base. A couple Marines are coming out there. It is 8 minutes, okay. So 8 minutes is when those rocks die. Misinformed. I'll shout him out, it was Wardy. He said it on the cast when I was watching Homestory Cup. I think he gaslit Fjant into thinking it wasn't 8. Pretty sure. God damn it. He made a mistake. OMG. I can't even, but Clem stays alive. This one stalker gets targeted down. He's still alive. Clem, just by the skin of his teeth, is holding on here in this game number 4. He's alive. The boy is alive. He has a third base. He has more workers than Gumi. Gumi just starting a third base. Not on the gold base. Kind of sad. But I don't know how you defend that. Maybe you take it from the other side. And now the rocks have been killed. Oh, the Stim Marines, they get force fielded out. The Zealots get on top of it. +1 for the Protoss, but not for the Terran. And the siege tank is being targeted down. Oh, nice shot. The siege tanks do get the stalker hits. And the Zealots now have died. No more chaff for these ranged units. Sentry also gets killed. And now Gumi retreats. Oh, blink forward by Clem. So ballsy. Dude, all action in this game. Clem feels like the best defense is a good offense in this game for me. Just keeps putting on the pressure. And the Zealots run onto the bio. The bio has to stim once again. These medevacs still have a good amount of energy, though. One stalker does get targeted down. Nice target fire by GuMiho, making sure that those Clem stalkers blink forward to target down a marauder or a medevac. He instantaneously fires a stalker. It's just like a slap on the wrist. It's like, no, I know what you want to do. I know you want me to A-move, and then I hit Zealots, and that gives you a chance to snipe an expensive unit, but no. I target fire 1 or 2 stalkers, making it feel bad. Making it feel very bad to blink. It's kind of like a Pavlov. Like you just condition Clem into not blinking onto your army anymore. Because you will be punished. Good micro by GuMiho, and this game is looking pretty okay for him. But Clem has been fighting back. +2 just finished up. The first Colossus is going to come out. No thermal lands, no Colossus range. But we do have a good amount of sentries. We don't get a lot of force fields keeping the Terran out, but he's keeping him out long enough. The Colossus now comes back. More force fields going down, but most of the Terran units still find units to shoot. Guardian Shield putting in a lot of work, though. And one medevac does go down. The Blink Stalkers come forward, and I told you, the moment it happens, GuMiho turns around and just targets your stalkers. He doesn't care that he loses units here. He just wants to punish you for doing that. Stop blinking on my units, bro. And we have some Widow Mines here. And wow, actually, Clem gets hit by those Widow Mines. A 4th base is down for Clem. But still only, whoa, 58 probes. And Gumi goes for the Doom Drop in the vision of an observer. Maybe Clem can be in position here and claim the victory for Protoss. Oh my god, runs in with the Zealots, shows that he knows. Oh, if these Zealots didn't show themselves, maybe Clem could have just cleaned up this entire Doom Drop. Instant scan. Gumi's like, huh, very weird of you. Let me make sure that this Doom Drop hasn't been spotted. Zealot run by, gets into the natural, kills an SCV. And Gumi sticks on his 50 SCVs. He's now building a couple more. 2 more upgrades are coming out for Gumi, though. +2 attack and +1 armor is going to make this bio very strong. The army supply is in Gumi's favor as well, and the Doom Drop is on its way. There is a probe here, dude. Clem knows that he's going to lose if there's a Doom Drop that gets into his main, for example. Gets by undetected. Thermalance is done. The one Colossus gets found, and the force fields over there were pretty nice, keeping a lot of the bio away, but now the sandwich happens. The bio comes in from two sides, and they run on top of the Colossus. This Colossus and the Blink Stalkers actually just body blocking it up. This Colossus still alive, but the Viking wants to make a quick work of it. This shield battery is out of juice. No more nuclear battery. And only Stalkers remaining. It looks like GuMiho has enough steam left in the tank, and that Clem is going to collapse here in game number 4. For GuMiho takes this win, and we go into a game number 5. All the marbles are just on the table. It's one more game, baby. And for the final game of the series and the tournament, we load up into Abyssal Reef all the way from 2017. We have this beautiful underwater tile set again. We can talk about the shark again. Wondrous. Amazing. Now, we have a lot of tournament data. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and for TvP, this map was actually favored for Terran back in the day. Now, is it still favored for Terran? I don't know. Clem pulled out Protoss versus GuMiho in their first series as well on this map. And it was scrappy. But he did end up losing in the end. But Clem, very unfortunate in that game number 4, fought back like a lion. But he was wounded from the start. It wasn't a fair fight. GuMiho going for a 4 racks siege tank push on the third base, and that push is designed to kill that third base. And it did kill that third base. That's one of those pushes that without the nuclear battery becomes super difficult to hold. Also, if you don't scout, it becomes pretty difficult. I think if Gumi pulled the SCVs there, he might have won the game on the spot. But let's see what happens. Of course, one of the features is that you have a small ramp and then an entranceway into a potential third base. It's nice to wall this. And then you can kind of just have your army over here and defend everything. Even Zergs will wall this off to make sure that like no Hellions can come up. And then you only have to defend this area, which is quite nice if you don't have a lot of queens. Just wall this off, 1, 2, 3 queen, and then you can go 2 base. I don't think you ever want to take this base, but this is an annoying part. It probably also comes in versus Protoss, where just a couple siege tanks shut this down. Colossus can kind of deal with it, and on the other side, Colossus come up and deal with it pretty well. I do have very fond memories of this map playing Ling Bling Muta, but I don't have fond memories of this map where GuMiho, he popularized the double Thor drop and Raven openers. Both of those were so annoying in ZVT on this map. Raven just putting down the auto turrets and then double Thor drops for some reason. Super annoying. How do you deal with that? Reaper has been built here by GuMiho. Did he get some valuable scouting? Not too much. And again, Clem going for the blink build. And what is GuMiho doing? He's going for a Cyclone. He's going for a quick medevac. Probably going to see that 8 Marine medevac drop once again with the Reaper Cyclone moving out like we saw in game number 3. Now that one did end in the favor of Clem, so let's see if it happens once again. This Cyclone is just purely for hunting adepts that shouldn't be on the map anymore. It's also pretty good at just finding random proxies, obviously. Now we see 4 Marines in the medevacs. The other Marines were marooned back at home. So no, medevac boosts on into the natural. This is 4 Marines. Such a weird drop, dude. But it's forcing Clem to react, keeping him honest. And nothing much happening with this drop. But, ooh, this Adept gets found by the Cyclone. It gets killed once again. The Stalkers move out into the map. Clem eager to fight, but is that the right response here? No shield battery to back this up. No blink to back this up. A siege tank is coming out, and Gumi putting the screws onto Clem early once again. And wow, this siege tank is in range of this first gateway. There's 2 in the main, so it's not too bad. But if you lose this, that's 33% of Clem's production right there. Gateway production, that is. This Robo's not producing anything. The Immortal did get nerfed. Oh my god, the big blink in from Clem. Wow, the pickup from Gumi. The shots of the Stalker do not hit onto the siege tank, and all of the Stalkers are going down. He did get the siege tank in the end, but what a pickup by Gumi. The probes are coming off the line. Slow warp-ins, no way. Only 2 Stalkers, 1 Stalker, and these Stalkers still not here. 20 probes go down. No, you needed the fast warp-ins, Clem. And the GuMiho crushing Clem here in game number 3, pulling a fast one. Clem with the blink in the cockiest of moves. Oh my god, he thought he could snipe that tank before it unsieged, and it did not work out for Clem. Actually, like 2 full Stalker volleys were just wasted there because of GuMiho's great pickup micro. And Clem, oh my god, is forced to tap out after losing 20 probes just to buy time for the slow warp-in. No way, if the pylon was a slightly more to the left, closer to the Nexus. Oh no. GuMiho takes this grand finals of the Homestory Cup 26 and is a repeat Homestory Cup champion. That is a cool story. The hope for Protoss is alive, but Terran does reign supreme at the start of this patch. Some of us are not surprised. Some of us are. This Reaper actually getting a kill on the Stalker here. And wow. Clem showing that he can do it with a different race, almost 1 map difference. But GuMiho takes the dub. He's your victor. He's the champ of the Homestory Cup 26. Homestory Cup 27 has been funded, so we will be seeing that in June. The end of June, I think, 2025. I hope to be attending that one. I was hoping to be attending this one, but, you know, finances are a thing. That was great. GuMiho, congratulations. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this cast. I hope this motivates you to watch some more StarCraft of the new patch, because it seems to have been shaken up just enough to be very fun. And of course, this tournament was, I think, a couple days after the patch dropped. Of course, most of the pros were practicing on the PTR, but still, like, people like a laser were basically like, well, I don't know. I haven't played any. I don't know my form right now because I haven't played a lot of ladder, and it's difficult to play a patch that isn't on ladder, right? You need to have practice partners. You need to play the PTR. You need to find people on your level, and in the end, it's an early patch. You don't know what's going on. So we're gonna do it a little different on this channel. Usually I just cast the groups first and then the playoffs, but trying to do the playoffs first. So we do the grands, and then we do the whole playoffs from round 1 onwards. And then I start with the groups, starting with Group D, because I always start with Group A. Let's shake it up a little. And I hope you will look forward to watching some new patch gameplay. This, I think, is the last tournament of the year. So we're eating good for the coming month or so with some new patch replays. And of course, rating this series. I think this is a solid 6 out of 8 blue minerals finals. It's just, we went the distance. GuMiho did finish it a little early in a couple of the games, but Clem fought like a lion, showed some very good resilience. But we didn't really get to go past the mid-game in most games. So maybe it's a 5 out of 8, honestly. That kind of, I don't know, the novelty is there, though. So let's just keep it at a 6 out of 8 blue minerals. Lock it in. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Homestory Cup 26 games coming your way. Cheers.